My good friend Brook McConnell from South Ocean, we brought him in to talk about the regulatory reform process implications on Asia, but his jaw actually dropped when he saw DPRK may launch projectile toward Hawaii. That guy is nuts.
Is Hong Kong the same distance? Can a missile get as far as here, too?
Well, yeah, he could.
I hadn't thought about that one.
But he doesn't want to get too close because he likes to launder money through Macau. Yeah, so Hawaii's kind of harmless, you know.
Yeah.
And they won't give him a visa there. What do you think of the sweeping reform by Obama? Is it really that sweeping, a big broom?
There's a lot to it. It's pretty massive when you take all the little different bits of it. You know, consumer side, the mortgage side, the hedge fund side. There's a lot in there. I think whether it all becomes law or not, and by the end of the year or not, is another question.
Yeah, I had GOP congressman on just launching arrows at him, saying, "You really want the feds, checking your mortgage terms for you? It's going to basically squeeze entrepreneurial activity and creativeness. But then again, too much creativeness is not a good thing either."
Certainly, the creativeness got out of hand, and so as much as I'm against more regulation, I think there's got to be a policeman over top of this.
Let me ask you point blank. They're sending the IRS moles around looking for new sources of revenue. They're talking about potential VAT or VAT on things like business cell phones, maybe soft drinks or whatever. I mean, they need the revenue because the taxes aren't coming in. What's going to happen with folks like you here managing money on behalf of, say, Americans? Is this going to squeeze you? Are you going to feel the pinch because of what's going on Capitol Hill?
It's already been happening since September 11th in regards to the clampdown on basically money laundering and monies that are getting away from the tax man. I think this will intensify that. To set up a new account, most banks won't even accept a U.S. account anymore. It's just too much of a burden to be reporting and to go through all those rules. So it's tougher for Americans to be able to participate. That said, I'm hopeful that this doesn't strangle any of the...
Is this purely a domestic issue in America, or are they going to start... remember the group of 20, the G20 and blacklists, of places that were questionable in terms of the way they process money, money laundering, kind of soft money laundering. Is there going to be some language in there that's going to nail places like Hong Kong, places like Singapore? This whole regulatory reform issue. Is there going to be more paperwork? Is there going to be more bureaucracy introduced?
Look how much they're spending. Where is the money going to come from? They've got to go out and find it in places, and they're definitely going to be eyeing places that money has gone to, like the Cayman Islands, but I'm not saying that any of these places, or even Hong Kong was on that blacklist for a while, and Hong Kong's cleared their name, but they're going to be eyeing everything. What that does to our business, I think it's already a difficult entity to try and get a new client into a fund. It brings up all sorts of questions, and people are just going to say, I can't put up with all this paperwork. It just gets more and more paperwork.
They're talking, in places like Hong Kong, they're talking about, the deposit protection plan, which now covers like $12,800 US, They're talking about enhancing that, the same way the FDIC went from 100,000 to like 250K or something like that. The SEC is undergoing consultations about regulatory oversight, the vetting of companies, that sort of thing. Is this the trend around the world? More regulatory oversight and basically more governmental supervision. It could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. I mean, things like Lehman mini bonds, go into, fly in the face of a lot of legislators who say we need to protect the people.
Not only are we going to get more regulation because the world's getting more complex, the investment world is getting more complex. It's difficult for anybody, even my position. You ever read a CD, one of these derivative contracts of 380 pages long? There's no way you can go through it and figure it out. The world's getting more complex, and the mini bond saga is just one of the little things that happens.
Right. Great. You just answered my question. I'm just going to buy gold coins and then go away.
There you go.
Thanks, Brook. Brook McConnell, South Ocean Management, our friend there.